Our episode for today is called Affirmations and Exfoliations. We are shedding, softening, and surrendering. But first, let's have a mantra moment with ourselves. I encourage you to slow down, sit down, and close your eyes if you can. I inhale clarity. I exhale what no longer serves me. With every gentle circle across my skin as I exfoliate, I remind my body, you are safe to let go. I release the stories that drive me out. I release the pressure that hardens me. I release the shame that stuck to me like residue. What is no longer mine falls away. I do not cling to dead weight. I do not need to carry the past to feel whole. I am enough, here, soft, and naked. As I shed the old, I make room for the real and the new version of myself. I make room for radiance. I make room for rest. I make room for me. And when I rise renewed. I rise remembered. I rise ready for whatever transitions God has for me in this season of my life. Now get cozy, light a candle, pour you some tea or some liquor, girl. Do whatever you need to do in order to relax and lay your burdens down. This is a judgment-free zone. Now let's get skintimate. Hey, my Pookies. You are listening to Skintimacy Conversations. If you are a faithful listener, welcome back. I thoroughly appreciate you. And if you are new here, welcome in. Come on in. Come on in. This is a place where we hold sacred space for skin health, sensuality, and spiritual growth. I'm your favorite host, Cherrelle. And for today's topic, we are discussing affirmations and exfoliations. The question of today is, what are we shedding? Not just with your skin, but with your spirituality as well. What dead weight are you carrying around, and are you willing to release it to reveal your deeper glow? Now, this may step on some of y'all toes. It might get a little sticky up in here because some of y'all don't like to let go of things that no longer serve you in this season of your life. But first things first, let's get down to the science of it all. Let's do a little skin talk. Let's get back to the basics of understanding our skincare regimen and the important steps of what makes up a great regimen for you. Now, last week, we did discuss cleansing and the importance of finding a great cleanser for your skin. But in today's topic, we're going to discuss exfoliating. This is one of my most favorite steps of my skincare regimen because I just feel so renewed, so refreshed. My skin is glowing. I feel like a young me, if you know what I mean, honey, baby in her prime. Back when my skincare regimen didn't take much effort, honey. I didn't need all this extra stuff. But nowadays, I'm like, baby, where is all the damn acids and exfoliators? Because these wrinkles are coming out of nowhere. Lord, if you want me to be a prune, just say that. No, but for real, one of the main complaints many of my clients come in my office with, I think I hear it the most. My skin is so dull. I no longer have my youthful glow. I have texture now. What can I do? I need everything. And I'm like, listen, we got to first get down to the basics of what we need and what is actually causing your skin to have different textures, dryness, and all those things. Because there is something called aging, and we have to learn how to age gracefully But that doesn't necessarily mean we keep the same regimen that we had back in our 20s. We make adjustments along the way to meet ourselves where we are in this particular area or this particular age of our life. And one of the most important things we can have in our skincare regimen is a damn good exfoliator, whether it's chemical or physical. And we will discuss the difference between the two, as well as the benefits of the two. Okay, so in order for the skin to stay healthy and retain its youthful glow, it has to constantly shed. Now, this is a basic scientific fact of how our body naturally sheds itself and renews itself. This is how I know this thing is spiritual as well, but we'll hold it for the later part of this episode. But healthy skin experiences something called desquamation, which is the process of fresh skin moving up and old skin shedding. This is our skin's renewal rate, which unfortunately slows down with time. Okay, so to thoroughly understand the skin's renewal activity, we kind of got to understand the layers of the skin, right? So the skin has 3 layers, and within those layers are more layers. Okay, so we have the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. Right now, we're only talking about the epidermis because that's where most of the exfoliation activities occur. The epidermis is the superficial layer of our skin, and it contains 4 layers within itself. 5 layers in certain areas of our body, but on our face, there are 4 layers within the epidermis. The layer where the actual exfoliating or the dead skin buildup occurs is in the stratum corneum layer, which is the outermost layer of the epidermis. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you guys are able to follow me. But as a young adult, say like our 20s, our skin completely renews itself every 28 to 40 days. But this rate unfortunately slows down and it happens about every 40 to 50 days or even longer, depending on our lifestyle, our environmental exposures, our skincare regimen. All that type of stuff plays a part in how efficiently our skin renews itself, but it naturally slows down starting in our 30s, and it just gets slower with each decade we enter into. And it's inevitable. Like, aging is inevitable, but we do have things that we can incorporate in our lifestyle, our skincare regimen, our self-care regimen, and all the things to kind of help us along the way. But yes, as the process of skin cell renewal slows down, it creates an environment where we start to look different. Our outer appearance changes because with that skin cell build up, our skin becomes drier, it looks dull, and then becomes textured. It sucks, but it's a blessing to grow old. So we just got to meet ourselves where we are. And lucky for us, especially my clients, we have techniques and skincare professionals like myself to help you all out or to help myself out, whether it be by getting regular facials or using quality products. When I say quality, I mean high-grade professional products where we can help usher ourselves into different skin stages and meet our requirements at those stages as well. And one of the main requirements is exfoliating, okay? Especially for my anti-aging girlies. Okay, excuse me as I go off on a little side note tantrum. A lot of you may or may not know I work in the healthcare profession as well. I am a CNA. I was once in school to become a nurse, but the pandemic just totally messed it up for me. And I still have PTSD from that. So I'm just trying to figure out if your girl is going to go back and finish up her clinicals and go ahead and get that RN, or if I'm just going to stay over here with the CNA girls. But anywho, back to the exfoliating side note. One thing that I experience when I'm dealing with the geriatric community, they have a lot of dead skin and a shedding of dead skin. If you all know anything about the geriatric community, some of them don't like to take baths on the regular. Okay, then they got, and they over here like, child, leave me be. Gertrude, if you don't get your ass up and take a bath so we can get some of this dead skin off of you, I'm going to lose it up in here because it looked like a snow shower of Parmesan cheese. And you just laying here like it's all right. Get up and come on. Let's find you some lotion or something. I'm saying all that to say, it is funny to me how I can physically see how the skin is trying to shed itself, but as we age, we have to physically help it out in some type of way so it can then release itself in a more gradual way rather than me seeing a whole bunch of skin cells laying around on your bed. Like, it's crazy. Anywho, back to the topic at hand. Exfoliating can be done in two ways. When we are incorporating it into our skincare regimen or our self-care regimen, it can be done chemically or physically. Let's talk about the chemical exfoliating properties first. Okay, so far we've covered that our skin naturally sheds dead skin cells, but we got to kind of understand what connects these skin cells, okay? These dead skin cells are basically stuck together with a glue called desmosomes. Our body then dissolves this desmosome or glue, and then it releases the dead skin cell. Our body naturally does that, right? However, like I said, with age, the body just doesn't do this as efficiently as it did when we were younger. So this is where our chemical exfoliators are our heroes, okay? Chemical meaning they are acids, y'all. But don't let that word scare you. However, they are chemical exfoliators, so they are considered acids. These acids weaken and break the quote unquote glue of the dead skin cells, which then allows the stubborn dead skin cells to slough off, and it kicks in your skin cell renewal, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys. These chemical acids vary in molecular design and strength. And not only do they help with the short-term effects like smoothing skin texture, but a lot of the accompanying ingredients help with hyperpigmentation, acne, and collagen production. Now, there are 3 different types of chemical exfoliators that are mainly used in skincare. We have our AHAs, our BHAs, and our PHAs. Bear with me, okay? I'm going to explain them, all right? Our AHAs, which is the bread and butter of our chemical exfoliators, they are water soluble and all vary in molecular structure. Their molecular structure determines how quickly they penetrate the skin. Now, before y'all get on here with all this natural skincare talk, this quote unquote natural skincare police people, don't bring your ass over here meddling in our business. These girlies over here, us girlies over here, we need some acids, okay? These acids are derived naturally, okay? They are naturally occurring in nature. However, they may be modified to help with the pH and the concentration levels that keep it safe when it comes to our skin. It minimizes the risk of irritation, but also maximizes the benefits for the skin. Okay, so I'm going to list some of the top hitters that you may find in your skincare serums or toners or whatever type of exfoliating item you use. You may see some of these names mentioned more frequently than others. Top ones I see are glycolic. Glycolic acid is derived from sugar cane. Glycolic acid is typically a superstar acid because it has a smaller molecular weight, meaning it penetrates the skin at a faster rate and it goes a little deeper than the rest of the serums because it has a small molecular weight. It's great in some instances, but when it comes to my black and brown girlies, this could not be the one for us because when it penetrates the skin at a faster rate, it can cause a little bit of disruption in our skin, and our skin may not like that. It actually may make our skin a little irritated because with that, it can actually do the reverse effect. It can cause us to have hyperpigmentation because with melanin skin, any trauma like that can actually have a reverse effect. So with our skin, with the brown and black girlies, we have to be a little more
progressive rather than aggressive. Not saying we can't use glycolic acid. We just have to introduce it at a slower rate. And we have to prepare the skin at a longer rate than we would our counterparts. People of other ethnicities can handle things a little better when it comes to their skin because they don't necessarily have to worry about that. Alrighty, moving on to another superstar, lactic acid. It is derived from milk or fermented vegetables. This is really good for hydration. It's also really good for people who may be new to acids. It's a good introduction to different acids that you can try if you're a beginner. The next one I personally love, and I personally use all the time for myself and my regular clients, is mandelic acid. It is derived from bitter almonds. Great for skin of color. Argue with your mama. I have seen it, and I have seen it do its thing over and over again. I love mandelic acid. It's the perfect molecular weight for people of color. I don't want to hear it. Argue with your mama. It's awesome for hyperpigmentation, acne, anti-aging, antimicrobial, antifungal, whatever. All the things. Mandelic acid is my superstar. I love it. I use it daily. Moving on. The next one would be malic acid. It's derived from apples. Fun fact about malic acid, it contributes to the characteristic flavor of wine. I thought it was pretty cool. Tartaric acid is derived from grapes and wine. So those are the top ones you'll see in a lot of different skincare ingredients, I would say. Another thing I know people use a lot of is vitamin A or retinol or tretinoin. It's not necessarily considered an AHA because we're talking about true alpha hydroxy acids. I'm not sure if I explained it earlier, but we're discussing AHAs. Those are our typical acids, acid classifications, sorry. But vitamin A and retinol or tretinoin, whatever you call it or whatever version you're using, is not typically considered an AHA, but it is a type of exfoliator. So you'll see that a lot. Dermatologists recommend it a lot. The problem with it is if you use it too much or too strong of a rate, or if you layer it with other acids, it can over exfoliate. So I've heard a lot of clients say, oh, I was using it retinol, but it was drying me out. It made me irritated. It made me red. It made me flake. Well, that's what it's made to do. But you have to use vitamin A in certain settings. And if you are noticing irritation, you need to slow down how much you're using it. Or, instead of using it 4 days, you might need to go back to using it 2 days. But you also need to incorporate some hydration and moisturizer when you're using these acids. I do not understand why dermatologists offer these vitamin A's and tretinoin and all this stuff without giving a complete regimen, because you're only addressing one aspect of skin, and skin is a multifaceted thing. So you have to incorporate everything it needs. Hydration, hydration, oil. Your skin is made up of water and oil. So you need both. You can't just strip and think the skin is going to do what it needs to do. That's not how it works. Okay, so we covered the AHAs, which are the main acids you'll see. But we're going to move right along to something called BHAs. And BHA stands for beta hydroxy acid. And one of the main BHAs people, I feel, overly use, especially if they are oily or acne prone, is salicylic acid, child. Mercy me. This is an oil-loving acid. It has a unique trait, which allows it to exfoliate down to the pore level, which is great if you have clogged pores from being oily or acne prone. It's great because it has antimicrobial and antifungal properties, and it gets rid of the oil. That's great if you are truly oily and you're a true oily acne prone client. The problem is a lot of clients who are acne prone or who are experiencing acne are actually dry. And somebody is telling them to use salicylic acid. And that can only be a recipe for disaster. However, I do like it in certain settings and in certain moderations, but it can make you dry and dehydrated if you overuse it. And a lot of times, like I say, people who are experiencing acne breakouts, the skin is just imbalanced and it's compromised. So we got to get the skin back in balance and hydrated before we actually go in and start stripping away things, if that makes sense. And one thing I want to mention, salicylic acid exfoliates down to the pore because it's oil soluble. Okay. And where is our oil produced? In the pores. So kind of a difference between AHAs and BHAs. AHAs is water soluble. So they typically only work at the surface of the skin, where BHAs, salicylic acid, actually penetrates down into the pore and dissolves the oil because it's oil soluble, if that makes sense. And lastly, we are going to discuss our gentle PHAs. This is for my gentle baby fresh girls. PHA stands for polyhydroxy acid. It's fairly new to the industry, and some of the common ones used in skincare are your lactobionic acid, your gluconolactone. So gluconolactone, I have to say that slow. And galactose is one of your popular PHAs that is used in the skincare industry. You guys, I have got to work on my speech because I typically am saying a lot. And I only notice it as I'm recording and listening to myself. I'm like, why do I do that? Anywho, sorry, back to PHAs. These are our ultra gentle chemical acids, and they even act as humectants, meaning they pull in water and they help hydrate our skin. And this is ideal, like I say, for people who struggle with dry, sensitive skin. So my recommendation, you guys, for people who are new to introducing chemical exfoliants into their skincare regimen or acids into their skincare regimen, I say do your research, understand your skin type thoroughly, start low and slow. Don't come out the gate choosing a 10% glycolic. Do not do that, okay? We are not trying to exercise demons out of our pores, okay? We are simply trying to anti-age effectively. So start low and slow. I highly recommend going to a professional esthetician who specializes in your skin concerns, preferably. Of course, your dermatologist. But since I'm an esthetician, I am rooting for us girlies and guys. We are definitely trained in helping you guys decide on which level of acid to start with according to what your skincare needs are. Because there is a thing called over-exfoliating, like I mentioned earlier, where you're starting out too fast, too high, and we're not incorporating other things like hydration, hyaluronic acid. Oh, and let me explain that hyaluronic acid is not an acid. I know that is so confusing, but it's not an acid. It's actually a humectant that binds water as well, and it helps with hydration and lubrication. It's naturally found in our bodies. So when you see that, just know that's not a true acid. Sorry, I didn't make up the word, but I definitely incorporate that in every one of my skincare regimens that I recommend to my clients. I'm typically recommending a gentle cleanser, a hydrating toner, which helps prep the skin for other ingredients like your acids. I definitely incorporate an exfoliator. Now, with certain exfoliators, like I say, depending on the client's concerns and what we're trying to address, I start them off low. If I do a test on them and I say, oh, she's good, I may start them off midway. I never go to the highest level of any serum or any exfoliator or any acid because we want to be progressive, not aggressive. Now, with that being said, I love a good chemical exfoliator, but I also love a good physical exfoliator as well. Now, depending on your skin, You can exfoliate once a week or maybe twice a week with a physical exfoliator. Some people can't handle a physical and a chemical exfoliator. Me personally, I exfoliate at least 3 times a week just because as we age, sometimes the chemical exfoliator just doesn't do the trick all the time. The chemical exfoliator does dissolve the desmosomes or the quote unquote glue of the skin cells, but sometimes the skin cells don't let go. They don't slough off. So we need to help it out. We actually need to do a physical exfoliation to help go ahead and get rid of those skin cells. I do this a lot in practice with a microdermabrasion because I just love getting that physical exfoliation. I love seeing that physical dead skin cell removed. I personally do this with my own skincare regimen, but I definitely keep a chemical exfoliator within my regimen. I just alternate with a physical and a chemical one. Some people can handle both. It just depends. Like, I judge your skin. I kind of see what your skin can handle. Mine can handle it. Everybody can't handle that. But yes, a physical exfoliator I definitely use in my regimen. I love the Mandelic exfoliator, the facial cleanser that I offer on my website. Go shop houseofskinaesthetics.com. But they use jojoba beads as their exfoliator, which is derived from natural jojoba oil. So it's not as abrasive because you do not want a physical exfoliator that scratches your skin. So you got to be careful with that too. Read the ingredients. Understand what the exfoliator is made out of. You don't want something that's so abrasive that it actually scratches the skin because that's damaging your skin and we don't want that. So I don't necessarily recommend like a salt exfoliator on your face. That can be a little bit too abrasive. But jojoba bead, I have found that it's soft enough to not scratch the skin, but is abrasive enough to get the job done. The same thing with microdermabrasion. I use diamond tip wands and I typically sand them down so they're not so abrasive, but they get the job done of gently removing the dead skin cells off of my client's skin. It's a winner. They love it. I've been doing it for years. And we get them to where they need to be, baby. Yes, ma'am. Glowing skin, blood flow, lymphatic drainage gives you a great glow. I love it. So you guys, whether you're using a gentle scrub or a chemical exfoliator, like an AHA or a BHA or even a PHA, the overall goal is to remove dead skin that no longer serves your glow. But here's what I love most about it. It becomes ritual, a moment where you choose to start fresh physically and energetically. Just like dead skin builds up over time, so does old beliefs, regrets, comparisons, and shame. If you're not checking in, that emotional debris clogs your joy, your confidence, and your radiance. And sometimes we don't even realize it. This is so tricky in life because we sometimes hold on to or make plans with skin cells in the form of people, things, or places where we were simply meant to shed. We are naturally meant to shed, but we are often creatures of habit and we love to stay comfortable because shedding or releasing certain people, things, thoughts, beliefs is just too uncomfortable. So if our skin is meant to shed naturally, why would it not also pertain to our spirit? I tell my girlfriends, y'all can come to me once, maybe twice, to complain about the same thing. But after that, after we done shed the same tears about the same situation, it is time to shed something. I don't give a damn. I'm tired of us sitting here, staying in the same place that no longer serves us, but then trying to figure out why we're not growing in life. Growth and shedding go hand in hand. You can sit around and think that you don't have to change. I want to see the person that has went through life and did not have to change something or did not have to shed something. This is inevitable. Like, it's healthy. It's needed. But don't get change twisted with pain per se. There is a discomfort in change, but if something is painful, or something that causes you to question, it's a tug of war within your spirit, that's not necessarily change. That may be you fighting against where God is trying to take you. And in the effort of following where God is trying to take you, you feel discomfort with this change. But nothing in life that is going to be beneficial to you should be painful. It will be some discomfort in that change, but it won't be necessarily something that tugs at your spirit and ends up bringing you pain. Change actually, in the end, brings you more joy than you staying in the place where you feel the most comfort. So say exercising. Nobody likes to exercise, okay? But it's a discomfort we have to endure to reap the overall benefit of good health. This stands true in our relationships, whether it be friendships, family, or hell, even intimate relationships like a marriage. I've been with Joe, my fiance, for 8 years, and we've had to grow and change within those 8 years because we are no longer the same people. So I think we get this so twisted when we are in relationships or when we get married. We expect people to stay the same instead of embracing the changes that come with being in the life of this person. Now, if they change in a way that's painful, you let them go, okay? Because that ain't what we're doing. But if we are changing for the better together, we have to be open to embrace that. And sometimes that's uncomfortable because in our mind, we married this version of the person and not marrying the different versions of the person, because you are not going to be the same. I'm not the same girl that Joe met in 2017. I'm a full-blown ass woman who has been through some stuff, and I have evolved, and we have we have come to terms with evolving and allowing each other to evolve individually, and we're open to evolve together. So we're shedding old versions of ourselves, old versions of what we thought our relationship would look like, and embracing the newness of where we are in this season. And we don't believe in getting in the way of naturally shedding. That's what we're supposed to do in our life. We naturally shed things. We naturally shed people. We naturally shed relationships. But the problem is we get so caught up in thinking that we are supposed to have this life this way laid out, however we thought we were supposed to have it laid out. And when it doesn't happen, we become resistant to change or resistant to shedding. And that's a problem, because spiritually, God wants us to be open to change. He wants us to be open to wherever he takes us to next in our life. And when we sit here and selfishly say, oh, well, I like this position, I like where I'm at with it, I'm good over here, and we resist change, that becomes a tug of war with our spirit, and that becomes painful because change is inevitable. We have to be open to that. We have to allow God to come in our life, and because we swear by now we have control, right? We have control of our life when we really don't. We honestly do not have control over our life. We can have suggestions, but ultimately we have to follow what God tells us to do. And whatever God has in store for us, whatever purpose we have over our lives, we have to be open to that. And we have to be open to where God shifts and moves us next. And that is something I have learned. I feel like I learned it the most when I became an entrepreneur, because I am literally living by faith. Like, I'm literally letting God give me the vision, and I am acting it out in my life. And that's when I really learned that change has to happen. Like, I am not the person I was when I first graduated from aesthetic school. I am seasoned, okay? I have been through some shit that has caused me to change. And I've had to change my mindset about things and people. And sometimes it sucks because ignorance is bliss. And I don't like that I now see where I need to let go of certain things. I say see with quotation marks, because it's like once your eyes are open, you can't close them back. And it's kind of like, well, dang, I was so happy in the unknown. And now that my life experiences has opened me to a known area, it's like I can't turn back. So I just have to keep moving forward in my changes. Every season, I am open to change. I don't like it because I'm human, but I'm open to it. I start creating a mindset around like, well, it's exciting. Some exciting new adventures ahead of me. So what do I need to prepare myself for in this season of change and shedding? So I want you to pause and ask yourself, what are you shedding right now in this season? What truths are you ready to reveal underneath the layers? Here's a simple ritual you can try this week. I have been trying it on myself. I want you to step into the shower or take a warm bath. And as you're exfoliating your skin, gently massage yourself. And as you do this, I want you to repeat your affirmations because you have to speak life over yourself. I used to not understand the importance of truly believing in yourself and truly believing in what you deserve in your life. I mean, truly believing it. I got to this point through pain. I got to this point through letting go and shedding. Shedding bad habits, shedding old beliefs, shedding old mindsets, shedding guilt of success, shedding dead relationships. I got to a good place with myself where I know what I deserve because I am the daughter of the Most High. And there is no way in the world I have went through hell to not reap the benefit of letting go and shedding old habits. I want you to look at yourself and speak over your life out loud or silently in your heart. Rinse away the exfoliator and the dead skin. I want you to pat your skin and moisturize and say, I protect my glow. And let your whole body know this is your shedding season. If this conversation moved you, rate it, share it with somebody who's ready to glow differently. Drop down in the comment section, shoot me a DM on my social media platform, or send me an email to Skintimacy@Cherrelle.com. I gotta update you guys on my YouTube videos. I am looking to start shooting it in the next couple of weeks. However, bear with me because me and technology, we just be over here tussling. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to embrace it. It's a new world, so just bear with me. Nonetheless, I will be back next week with more skin deep conversations. Until then, stay soft, stay sacred, stay glowing, and most importantly, stay skintimate.